Welcome to day 1261 of What's She Up To Now. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, documenting my journey as I transition from the brick and mortar corporate world of business to the online world of business, and a little bit of back and forth over the last year or so and going forward. I've known for a long time that I like to have multiple streams of income, and instead of just having all multiple streams of online income, I, of course, since the vast majority of my experience comes from the offline brick and mortar real business corporate world, want to do both. And I love when people say you have to do one or the other of something, like we only ever have two choices in life, because it's such a lie. In almost any circumstance, there's multiple, if not infinite, possible solutions or options or possibilities, yet a lot of times we block ourselves into a corner of believing that there's just limited things that we can do. I can't remember how many times I felt like I only had one of two choices. I had to either do this or do that, do this or do that. And it's because I think as we're younger, we limit our choices. We look at, and our parents do this, and our teachers do this, and our bosses do this, and everybody does this, and they make us believe that there's only a couple of options to follow, when really there's absolutely unlimited possibilities. So that has nothing to do with what I'm thinking about or talking about today. Today, our idiom was call the shots, and our annual challenge for Supersize Your Business and our annual challenge for the Do One Thing Every Day That Centers You was about the real frontier in our life is our inner space. And so I like to combine the two ideas when I'm thinking about my day and what's been going on. I spent a lot of family time the last couple of weeks with respect to the 4th of July celebration and holidays. And 4th of July is a big deal in my family because we've been a fireworks family for decades, like 3 decades now maybe. I have to figure it out, but I think in my, well, no, maybe closer to 4 decades, long time. So 4th of July fireworks, it's a fun, big deal for us. We are all a little bit of pyromaniacs, so it's fun. But with respect to the family time, I still like to be consistent and continue to communicate and do a couple of pieces of content and information every day. Now, over the holidays, it gets hard, and I've got a sleepover with my granddaughter right now. Luckily, I got her back to sleep so I could make my videos this morning. But even if I couldn't, I would get to them sometime today. I am a very challenge-oriented person, so when I set a goal and I make a commitment for myself, I keep it no matter what. Despite what my family says, despite what anyone else says, I don't make the commitment to other people, I make it to myself. And we can fool other people, we can lie to other people, we can make excuses to other people, but like our idiom, or like our saying today, the real frontier is our inner space. We can't really lie or fake it to ourselves. We can try to brainwash ourselves a little bit for a while, but we always know if we're being honest, if we're doing what we say we're going to do, if we're being truthful with ourselves. Even when we tell ourselves lies, like we say we're fat and ugly, or we say we're not very smart, or we say we're too old or too young, we always know that those are lies and excuses that we tell ourselves. So I really liked our share today for Do One Thing Every Day That Centers You. It's about inner space being the real frontier. The real frontier that we need to, each and every one of us, deal with and not conquer, but create what we want out of, is what's inside of us. Because what's inside of us is everything we need. Everything we need is already inside of us. I remember hearing that the first time and thinking, huh, is that true? Do I really believe that? And the more I thought about it, the more I realized it's absolutely true. Everything we need to create the life we want is indeed choking me up and already inside of us. Today, I need internally more coffee, more caffeine. So I like that, and I'm thinking about that today. I'm going to spend some actual time contemplating and thinking about this today. I'm going to a concert with my mom tonight, an outdoor concert, an orchestra, so that should be fun. And I will think about my inner frontier and what it is that I'm working on as I'm centering me. We're about halfway through the challenge now, and I like to reflect every once in a while, well, how's it going? Do I feel any different than I did at the beginning of the year? And I absolutely positively do feel about 50%, if not 100% better than I did in January with respect to how I'm counting on myself to create the feelings and the experiences that I want, no matter what's going on outside of me in the world. because what matters is my response to what's going on outside the world, not what's going on outside of me in the world, if that makes sense. So call the shots was our idiom today for Supersize Your Business. And I always thought this one was from the game of pool because it wasn't actually recorded until the 1960s, the early 1960s, and it didn't actually come from billiards or the game of pool, although we often call our shot in pool. I remember, playing pool when I was dating my husband, and before then I played pool, but not very much. I wasn't a very good pool player, but he always insisted that you had to call your shot or you'd lose the game. And maybe that's because he played bar billiards, I don't know. But he was in some competitions, so I learned a lot about billiards and calling your shot. But calling your shot to me was more about business. It actually came from military training and firearms, where people in competitions in the military and in the military training would call the shot that they were going to make with their firearms before they made that shot. I think there's a story about Babe Ruth calling his shot and pointing out into the field that he was going to hit a home run or something, some record-breaking home run. So call the shot has been around for a long time, but it actually wasn't recorded as an idiom until, beginning of my lifetime. I always use it as meaning the boss. The boss is the one that directs and calls the shots. The leader is the one that sets the direction and the tone for everything else that gets accomplished. As business owners, which this is an idiom, and I tie it into how do you grow and build your business, what could this idiom mean to you? And so to me it means you set the direction, the big course, what is our big target, what are we aiming at, and then help everyone else be contributing to that and working in that same direction. It's like having our own personal goals and objectives for the different areas and aspects of our life. We have to have something that we're aiming for, otherwise we'll go through our life and we might have good things and bad things that happen to us, because we all do, but we'll decide if our life is good or bad based on the experiences we're focusing on, or the interpretation of those experiences that we're choosing to have. And if we don't have an overarching goal and objective, a purpose and mission, just like our businesses should have a purpose and a mission, we individually need a purpose and a mission. What are we here for? What are we doing? What do we really want to accomplish? What's our legacy? What are we going to, what will we have lived for when we've lived this life? And a lot of people will never talk about or think about these things, but those that do will have a more purpose-driven, happier, more fulfilled life, because they'll be moving towards something. I always encourage the people that I work with and my family and myself to have something that we're moving toward. If we don't have any direction, if we don't know where we're going, if we don't have a goal, we may or may not get there, but chances are we won't get there, because anywhere we get can be the goal. And anywhere we get, I don't know, that doesn't seem like a very good goal to me. I mean, and if we're not setting the goal and direction for our life, other people are more than happy to set it for us. If we're not creating what we want in our life, other people are more than happy to use us to contribute to the creation of what it is that they want in their life. And that's not necessarily bad, it just is what it is. And so we need to understand that either we control and decide for ourselves, or someone will decide for us. I personally much rather decide for myself than have someone else tell me what I'm going to think, what I'm going to feel, how I'm going to act, what I'm going to say. I want to decide those things for myself. And I may choose to go along with a lot of what they say too, but there's a lot of it that I can just choose not to participate in, or I can choose not to follow because it's not right for me. So I actually really liked our idiom today, call the shots. I think it's a great idiom. I think it's applicable to a lot of different situations, both in our business and in our personal life, both in our careers and in our family life, in any organization that we are a part of. Are we part of the solution or part of the problem? And that's a choice we always get to make. If we are bitching, moaning, and complaining about something, we are definitely part of that problem. If we are looking for solutions and possible ways to deal with or handle a situation, then we're part of the solution. And we get to decide what we're going to be. And guess what? All of us are both sometimes or other. I know there have been times when I have been definitely part of the problem. If not, the creator of my own problems, because we all do that too. So that is what I'm working on today, hanging out with my granddaughter today, and then the rest of the week I don't have her, so I'm going to pop in and really focus on our upcoming our eighth Get Up and Go Challenge, our free 30-day Get Up and Go Challenge. I share tools and objectives, and basically what we do in that is we take and learn how we apply a framework of change and challenges because we're all, one thing we can count on in life is that things are always going to be changing. We're always going to be facing challenges and differences and changes. And so we have a process called the SOAP framework that we learn, and we take that and we practice it and apply it to each different area and aspect of our life during the 30 days, as well as installing it in our subconscious. So it just becomes an automatic way. Whenever a change or challenge comes our way, we will automatically deal with it using this framework to guarantee that we get the best possible results for us of any change or challenge that comes our way. It's a big promise, but it's the way it works. It's the way it's worked forever. We just don't always know it. And once we learn it and know it and put it in our subconscious, it's automatically in our toolbox. So we use and we learn a different tool every day throughout the 30-day challenge. I'm not sure what else I'm going to do this time, but that was one I added about, I don't know, maybe the 4th or 5th challenge in. I'm like, I have this huge toolbox of things that I do in my own life all the time to make my life work better. Why the heck am I not sharing those? So I started picking and choosing and sharing, and throughout the different challenges, I've shared different tools and some seem to fit better than others. And there's some I share every time, I've realized, because they're actually my favorite tools in my personal toolbox for personal development and change and handling all the stuff that life can dish at us. And, you know, I certainly have had my share of stuff dished at me in my life. Definitely not as bad as some people, but definitely haven't had a cakewalk life like others is. So I'm kind of right there in the middle of what can happen to you and how you can choose to deal with it and how you can create the life that you want no matter what happens to you. All right, that's it. If I can help you in any way, hit me up, ask in the comments below. I believe you can direct message on this video. Otherwise, I will be with you tomorrow with just another update on what I'm up to now as I make the transition from the brick and mortar world to the corporate, and the corporate world to the online world, and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. That's kind of how I roll. All right, have an awesome day, and I'll of course see you tomorrow.